Gary Wilkins here, Super Vac torture test day. We've got a little obstacle course set up today we're going to be doing. We're going to take it through some water, we're going to run it through some pebbles, we're going to bounce it up some steps, and then we're going to drop it off some stairways, presenting a porch for you. And then we might even have some real fun dropping off a building after a while. So let's go have some fun. With our collapsible handle that gives you a full-size grip, it's easy to maintain control and go in all terrain. With our full-size wheels, these rocks are going to be no match for us. Uneven terrain will not stop you from getting to the fire, neither should water. We've built our fans to be IP65 waterproof rated. Now we're going to take our fan up the stairs. We know it's still working from where we got it wet with the water hose outside. We still got that same great performance. Let's ventilate this building. Now we're going to take our fan and set it up on the porch. We've got a hose line 1 3/4 inches through the doorway there, and we've got someone inside who's going to accidentally knock the fan off using the hose line. This fan's been through a lot of use and abuse. We sprayed it with water, it kept on working, we carried it up steps without using the integrated handle. This fan's held up to it all. Now let's go see if it'll hold up to the final test. As you can see, we just knocked the fan off of the porch there. Fan did turn off, battery got kicked out of it. Did not break the connector, we was able to quickly pop the battery back in, and the fan's still running. This great performance is a testament to American-made tough right here in Fort Collins.
I'm Amy Spear, and I am with Super Vac, And today we are going to take this battery fan and we're going to put it through an extreme water torture test. With enclosed motors, waterproof batteries, and tough 3D printed parts, this fan is going to withstand whatever you throw at it. So we're going to douse it. We're going to take multiple platforms, we're going to douse it in multiple ways, and we're going to see how it handles. We're going to capture that footage. So here we go. Let's see how this fan holds up. Works as a mister too. Well, you saw it could take a blast. Let's go ahead and let's get this thing even more wet. Like we told you, this thing's got 3D printed parts and closed motor. So let's go ahead and we'll tip it this way. All of the electrical components are soaked in water right now. It keeps running. It's time to get real serious. We have to break out some hose. All right, here we go. She's still going.
Good morning, Aaron Ford, Western Regional Sales Manager for Super Vac. Does your battery fan have versatility? Does your battery that you can take out of your fan work in ventilation, saws, drills, shoring applications, rescue tool applications? We want to show you today how versatile this battery is for all the fireground needs.
Hey there, Gary Wilkin, Southeast Regional Sales Manager, coming at you today in the hot summer sun. Wanted to talk to you about a way that we utilize our equipment in non-traditional format. We've been long revered as the positive pressure ventilation specialists, the leaders of the pack. But today we want to talk to you about how we can utilize our equipment in a less traditional format. In the hot summer sun, we've had a collision. We've got an entrapped patient and we've got responders working. We've been able to take our battery fan here, which is operating with no emissions, no gas, no loud noise, only 77 decibels. And we've attached it to our ducting and we've plumbed it through what you would remove as the rear door there. We've got it directed at our occupant and keeping them cool and reducing the risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion, among other things that you're having to worry about in a collision and trauma situation. By doing this, you're able to reduce the internal temperature inside that car and make it more comfortable for the patient and responders as they work to save the patient.
Hi, I'm Kyle Weinmeister, International Sales with Super Vacuum Manufacturing. Today I'll be demonstrating how to connect our 20-inch duct to the negative and positive side of our 18-inch battery fan. To start off, we'll want to open up this handle and give us a little tilt. You're going to want to start on the bottom half so that the working end at the top is easier to get to. Pull it tight. And then slowly work around. It's a tight fit, so do what you need to do to get it around that shroud bell cup. Tighten that belted cuff down. Give it a pull, make sure it's secure, and deploy the duct. Now I'll demonstrate how to connect the 20-inch duct to the positive pressure side of the 18-inch fan. Give yourself some slack. Start with the bottom half. Work your way up to the top, making sure that the entire circumference is covered. You want to pull on as tightly as possible. Once it's on, give it a couple good tugs, double check your work, double back, open the zippered end and pull. To the desired area. To collapse, simply come back, undo the belted cuff, put the belted cuff on the ground, and work with the weight.
Hello there, Gary Wilkin, Southeast Regional Sales Manager for Super Vac. Wanted to bring you a quick video on one of our accessories for our positive pressure fans, both battery and electric. It's going to be our mountain mister. In this configuration here with the stream shape and guard, we're going to have two magnets that attach it directly to the center, just like that. It's no clips, no mechanism that you got to open, twist, unlock, lock to be able to get this to work. A few years ago, cancer became a leading point of conversation in the fire service, and Super Vac took it upon ourselves, like any good responsible manufacturer would, to say, are we negatively impacting this discussion? At that point in time, we was debating on whether or not how the best way of doing a mister would be, whether that's incorporating it into the grill or having it as a standalone separate unit. What we actually come up with is we actually develop a standalone mister in and of itself. So we've got a separate unit that will consume 2 gallons of water per hour. It's in our smoke ejector configuration. And that way you have a non-contaminated mister available for your rehab operations. However, if you do want to use your positive pressure fan, if your budget's and your protocols allow you to do that, then we wanted a separate standalone unit for this reason right here. If you're using this fan in fire attack, it's getting contaminated with carcinogens during that operation. If your mister then is also included in your grill, it's also getting contaminated during that operation. When you leave the fire and go to rehab, research shows that for every 5 degrees of body skin temperature increase, your body absorption rate increases another 400% as well. So you're spraying carcinogens on your firefighters when they are the most vulnerable in rehab, making that situation much worse for them. So we developed it as a separate standalone unit that's going to consume only 3 gallons of water here in our mountain mister. And that way, if you are in a rural fire operation, you don't have to worry about water consumption, this being a very mission critical device. It's going to use a very minimal amount of water, going to cool the ambient air somewhere around about 30 degrees from where it is down using this misting feature. Another thing I really like about this also is for training grounds. If you've got a Connex box, those magnets will sit there and they'll go simply attach to the Connex box and spray out mist into that area without the use of a fan, using the pressure of the water on itself. If you've got a tree limb on the fire ground and you don't have your fan available at that moment, you can simply hang this over an elevated surface and it's going to use that mist there to cool that area as well. So again, this is our mountain mister, very popular accessory for our positive pressure fans.
Radiant heat can take a toll on ventilation equipment. Consider a fan with a cast aluminum blade, which has a higher tolerance for extreme heat compared to plastic blades. At Super Vac, each blade is cast in the in-house foundry, where the aluminum is heated to 1200 degrees and then poured into a sandcast mold. The blades are then adjusted and balanced for ultimate precision.
First of all, this fan is IP65 waterproof rated. Again, that's kind of the equivalent of taking a shower. You can have rain down from fire hose, everything's going to be cool, you don't have nothing to worry about there. But the chargers for these batteries, they don't hold a waterproof rating. Furthermore, they're rapid chargers, so they actually have fans built into those chargers to be able to keep them cool while it's recharging the batteries. So that water would be a point for where water could get into the fan and cause problems. So no, there's no charger on board on these fans because the waterproof rated. But second to that, when we actually developed these fans, the fire departments asked us to build redundancies in place. So there's no electricity that flows from here to here. When you plug this into drop cord, you can actually remove these batteries out. Because firemen never break anything at all. If those batteries for somehow were to get broke, your battery connector was broke, you had some type of critical failure there, or just a bad battery in general, there's no electricity that flows through there, so the fan will continue to operate even without the batteries installed. There are some fans on the market that would actually require electricity to flow through the batteries, flow through the fan to be able to operate off of AC shore power. So that's an excellent question, and that really is another forward-thinking design from us to give you redundancies in place for this fan to be able to operate without the batteries installed with that AC shore power. So excellent question. You're going to have the ability to actually continue operations because, again, this is the fire service and nothing ever breaks. We all know that. So, continuing forward with our excellent design here, you've got our lights built into the extrusions here. We've done that so that they're protected. You don't have to worry about knocking anything off of the fan, anything getting caught, broke, etc. Speaking of getting broke, it's a great place to talk about our warranty. 5-year on the fan, 3-year on electronics, including the batteries. So the batteries on all of our fans are included in that 3-year warranty. So an industry-leading 3-year warranty on our batteries as well. So this here, you see me unlock it earlier for the handle, that's a compression latch. It's going to allow you to rotate this fan 180 degrees, the same as we did with that 16-inch fan. So you rotate it up, positive, and negative 90 degrees, okay? So it's going to work out just fine there. Same thing goes for the 20-inch fan. We won't spend much time on it because a lot of it's redundancy. We'll bring this over here now and just point out the differences. So you see, got full-size wheels. This is its big brother. It's a whole lot of similar design characteristics, but a few things do change. One, on this fan here, on the American model, we do incorporate the plug now to the front of the fan as a pigtail on our 20-inch design. Again, that's just a change in the way things are wired, a little bit different here, and we didn't quite have the room to be able to plug in with that Kuzma style plug that we've got on our other fans that you're familiar with. So you got a traditional style pigtail on our 20-inch fans. We've got this idea on the back here that we incorporated from fireman feedback. So we always incorporate fireman feedback. So if you've ever got anything that you think we can do better to improve our products, send it to us. We love your ideas and we like improving them so we can always be providing you with the best possible. Firemen recommended that we put these skids on here. They're smooth skids, they're replaceable, they're removable. What that's doing is it's allowing, if you're going up steps, to drag it up the steps without getting it damaged, okay? And if it were to get damaged, then this is a replaceable part. You got 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a 5th one down here. Take it off, put a new one on there, and you're ready to go without damaging your aluminum frame, okay? Collapsible handle, same as there. 20-inch fan has 2 lights built into the extrusion. Light 1 and light 2 right there, okay? So that's how that's going to work. All of these are variable speed fans. You got low settings for rehab, high settings for fire attack, sweet spot in the middle there for anything in between. All of our fans are AMCA certified. That's pretty important, we think. So you send it up there to AMCA. There's other fan manufacturers in the PPV world that is using AMCA as well, and that's going to certify our airflows. You can pull those certifications from their website, and we're going to have air speeds ranging from the 16s, from the 9,000s up to over 13,000 with our 20s. Okay, so if you want precise numbers, we'll feel free to give them to you at the end, but just trying to keep this as concise and be respectful of your time as possible today. Okay, so we're going to move over. That is our battery fan lineup. Moving on over to our Valor series here.
Quick question, Gary, that just came in. They're wondering if these fans can be ducted, and if that makes them intrinsically safe.
So that is a good question as well. So we do have, let me back up a second, talk about accessories just for a moment, other than the mountain mister. We've got a full lineup of accessories, whether that be duct work, foam attachments, a little bit of everything there. But with duct work and battery fans, because of the inherent nature of batteries, there's no battery fan on the market produced by anybody that's intrinsically safe. Now, fire department say, now what does that mean to me? It means go back and look at your SOGs. If you're in a non-IDLH environment, in a danger to life and health and safety environment where you have explosive gases, you're perfectly fine if your SOGs will allow you to use a battery fan with spiral ductwork. So guys, that's a great question, very relevant to any fan that you're considering for the fire service. Didn't want to go into full detail out on the showroom floor because we do have several with several different numbers, but now that we're sitting down and I can actually pull up a list and show you in person, that's perfectly fine. So if you're on supervac.com and come over to positive pressure underneath the battery tab, just go ahead and click that and scroll down. You're going to see what we talked about earlier with DeWalt Milwaukee. Just keep scrolling. You're going to come to a grid style system here. Starting off with the 16s, so we'll lump those together. You're going to notice that the M28 battery does have some minor airflow differences versus the M18. I want to address 2 things with that before we go into these numbers. First of all, batteries work in a way that you take the voltage and the amp hour, you multiply them together, that gives you your watt hours. Watt hours in layman's terms are really how much electricity you can drain from something at a certain rate, how much power you can get out of it. Think about it as similar to a horsepower of a car. So that M28 is a great battery, time tested, used on those TNT and Genesis tools, works great with our fans. Just doesn't have quite as many watt hours as the 18 volt Milwaukee there. But so I'm going to point this out and then I'm going to do a quick little bit of math for you before we go through all of this. So you've got the 16-inch BW, which is the M28. It's at 8,000 CFMs. And then there, the 16BL, which is your 18 volt, is at 9,131 CFMs. And if you move up to the 16 DeWalt, you'll see that it's 9,816 CFMs. I get asked frequently, and I'm going to pull up a calculator to supplement this. Start a new tab here for that, just so that we can stay on this page here and I can come back to that grid. But if you're actually looking on our website and scroll down, sorry I got on top of the tab there, you'll want to select feet and then choose which fan you're wanting to compare and then put in your length, depth, and height. It's cubic, so it's 3 measurements. That's where you get the cubic volume of space of air, your movement, and everything else. It's not exact science, but it's pretty good for conversation pieces. When you talk about a 1,200 square foot residential home with 8-foot walls, the height of the wall is vital to this discussion because change that and you're going to change your number. But 1,200 square foot, 8-foot walls, you're going to notice that for about every 1,000 CFM increase, your ventilation time will decrease by about 1 minute. Give or take, it's not exact science, but that's what that really works out to. So we come back over here to compare fans. You're going to look at this here. There is a 1,800 CFM difference from top to bottom, DeWalt to Milwaukee. So you're literally talking about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes tops difference between those fans there for ventilation time frame. So that is the difference there between 8,000 and 9.8. It's not a tremendous difference. Move up to your 18-inch size. You're going to be at 9,000 for your M28, 9,618 for the 18, 10.8 for the DeWalt. Again, about the same difference from top to bottom there, so about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes difference between the 18 to a M28 up to a DeWalt. Looking at your 20-inch, 11.5 up to 13,000 is the change there. Obviously 11.5 being your M28, 12.5 being your M18, and then 13,000 being the DeWalt. Looking at size comparison from bottom right here at a 28 volt 16 at 8,000 CFMs up to the 20-inch M28 at 11.5. You're sitting at, let's see, 9, 10, 11 to 3,500 CFMs difference from top to bottom. So you're going to be at minute 33 to almost 4 minutes difference from a 16 to a 20-inch fan is going to be really the difference there. So it really goes down to what you're doing. If you're ventilating a big area, you're going to want a lot of airflow. That way that you can really get that smoke out of there quicker, get back in service. You don't want to be standing around all day doing that. So that's a great question, and thank you for asking. If this was too quick going over that or something like that, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll try to break it down a little bit more for you as well.
And just a reminder about the batteries too, like Gary addressed earlier, it's really a matter of a lot of times what batteries are sourced on your truck already, and really the differences are pretty minute, and it's really what batteries are you running with extra department already, and that's usually helps you make that battery fan decision. Going along that, there was another question in line with batteries from JR. If chargers aren't waterproof, are batteries waterproof?
So that's another great question. So you heard me say earlier, the reason we don't have a charger built into our fan is because the chargers themselves have fans built into them to keep them cool, so they don't carry a waterproof rating. The batteries don't either. So if you get water into the contact area of the batteries are going to go into a safety mode until they dry out, and then they'll be ready for operation again. However, our fans are fully certified to IP65 waterproof rated. So what does that mean? It means it had to go get tested, had to get the little stamp seal of approval to say, yes, this is capable of withstanding that. So you go and you send it off for testing. They do their rain test and everything else. And the way we've designed our fans to protect the batteries, you know, if you had the battery sitting like this right here, let me scroll up here so I can get a better picture of the fan. If we had the battery sitting on the outside of this fan, unprotected at all, side to side, vertical, either one, you would run the risk of getting water into those contact areas. And that's going to put the battery into a safety mode, and it's going to be out of operation. But because we actually take, this is a solid, let's see, I should be able to get pictures somewhere of the top down, right there. See how that's solid there? It actually covers the batteries. They slide in, and then they're housed so that water doesn't come in. In that torture test video that we linked into the file, you can actually see we was out at the factory. We used a garden hose to spray all over it, and to demonstrate the waterproof capabilities of the fan. Granted, that's not a fire hose, but we didn't have a fire hose at the factory. So by taking that housing, sliding your batteries in, locking them in place, any water coming down from the top, it's going to hit that house cover, it's going to roll off the side. It's not able to get into those contacts where it's going to shut down the battery. Water coming in from the back, these lock in so tight back here, there's so little tolerance that the water doesn't spray in to reach the contacts, because the contacts are all the way up here at the front of the battery. So that's how we can get our IP65 waterproof rating using these batteries here.